So today we're going to do a little computer upgrade, and we'll show you how that works. So first of all, this is the HDMI module that I purchased for this mini PC, which is a HP EliteDesk 800G3. So this HDMI adapter is going to replace what's currently in the system as a display port. Now, as you can see later, this little mini desktop is something that I use for normal web browsing and whatnot, and it has actually 3 display ports, and so I ended up buying this replacement part. So there's this little adapter that goes inside of the PC that'll change one of the ports into HDMI. So I bought this online through eBay, through I think it's a Pacific Recycling or electronic recycling company. They sell these things. I bought this for $9 something. With shipping was 10, or tax was like just over $10. The thought was that it already has 3 display port, or two onboard display ports. I was hoping to be able to connect to an HDMI monitor versus just monitors as display port. So the delay here is that I was hoping to find a anti-static bag, but couldn't find one right away. So as you can see, HDMI. So I don't know what it actually does. I'm assuming this is like either a converter that's built into the thing, and the connector is underneath it, and so when it replaces the other one, it basically just sits in place and click into that little connector, and then it comes out the back. So hopefully you can see this. There's currently 3 display ports, 2 that are on board. The one that I am going to be replacing is the one in the middle. So first of all, this is the one in the middle that I'm replacing, and that is, I don't know, want to call it a daughter board or whatever. It's an add-on card that you can get. So now, once it's replaced, I will be able to have 2 display ports and an HDMI port. So for connecting monitors a little bit easier. I could potentially use different type of monitors. So it's not just limited to display ports. So anyways, unlock the back, and the top cover comes off. So there's a lot of things in there. This is a tiny little PC. The board that it needs to be replaced, it's underneath the hard drive caddy. So I was trying to move wires around and see how I can actually take it apart, or easily take it apart. So I was trying to get some of the dust or things, whatever, out of it, so that they don't just stay in there. Anyways, so the cover, the fan shroud, I don't know if that's a shroud or not, whatever. It looks like a shroud, so it's very small. So that comes out. That really helps the air to go out of the back of the case. And then, I was trying to unscrewing the screws that's holding the cards in place. There are 2 screws on either side of that little card. And then there's a 3rd screw that I thought was also holding the card. So I was obviously trying to remove the card, but obviously with so little space, it's really hard to figure out how to unplug it. I didn't want to use a screwdriver to pry it open. So what I end up doing is mistakenly taking the cover of the card off. Again, originally I thought that was the one of another screw that was holding the card in place, but it turns out that wasn't the case. So once it's taken out, I'll explain a little bit later. So with all the screws out, I was still not able to move it at all. So part of it is obviously just there's not enough room in there. So I ended up taking apart the caddy. So the top locking mechanism pops out. So all I have to do is take the the SATA connection or the connector disconnected from the caddy. And then there's 3 more screws that are actually holding the entire assembly in place. So I was trying to pull it and see what else is there. So there are 2 in the front. Once those 2 are removed, and I found out that there's actually a 3rd screw that's holding in place that's actually underneath that locking mechanism. So as you can see, I was trying to wiggle around. I see the, oh, there you go. There's the 3rd screw. So once that's taken out, it's pretty easy to get the caddy out completely. So they designed this thing pretty well. So I guess it's easier to upgrade the M.2 hard drive or SSD. So as you can see, that was underneath the caddy completely. So once that's out, there's a lot more space, and I was able to kind of, pry it open with my fingers and wiggle it around. It was a little hard to actually take it out. For some reason, it didn't want to move. So once it popped out of this little socket, I have to kind of wiggle around and turn a little bit to take it out. And as you can see, that came out in parts because that 3rd screw, the last screw that I removed from this card, was actually just holding the plate on the card. Just trying to figure out, like, what the heck did I do wrong? And again, it's the 3rd screw that I unscrewed. It was really not necessary. So once I figured that out, the installation part was actually really fast. It took a lot, for some reason, it took a lot longer to get that out than putting the new one in. So as you can see here, just kind of wiggle it around. The just, standard normal, like, top-down fit doesn't quite work. So I have to kind of lift it up, have the faceplate vertically, and then turn it a little bit downwards, so then it sits in properly and then it snaps into place pretty easily. I could hear a little click when it goes in. Now it's going to put the screw back in to keep it in place. Like I said, the install was a lot shorter, a lot quicker than taking it apart or taking that old cart out. So once the 2 screws is in here, it's really not moving, not going anywhere. The next step is really just, as you can see, HDMI ports there now, to add the hard drive caddy back in. So it's basically the reverse step of taking apart. So, set it in place, put the 3 big screws in there to keep it in place, and then once they're in there, so this one's a little, like, this screw is kind of hard. Is at an angle. It's hard to, like, fully tighten it right away. So I just end up putting the 2 in the front in, keep it in place, and then I can turn the last one a little bit better. So now that's fully locked. I'm putting the locking mechanism back down. And then the next step is to fasten the SATA cable adapter or cable connector back onto the caddy. So 2 screws goes in, that locks it in place. I don't think I will ever use a SATA SSD in there. Part of it is because I wanted to kind of keep enough space in there to allow airflow to go through. There's no fan on the bottom side of the case. So as you can see, just demonstrating here, that a standard hard drive will go in, and obviously with the screws on the side, it actually locks in place, and then it goes into the port, connects to the port, and then it locks in place so that it doesn't actually move. It's a nice little design, but it just, because there's just almost no airflow on that side of the case, so I didn't want it to generate more heat. So yeah, putting the fan rail back in, I think I broke a tiny little clip piece, but eventually, I don't think it really matters, so eventually I just close up the entire lid. I was trying to pop that piece back in, but it ended up broken off completely. So yeah, kind of sucks. I should probably be careful next time. So yeah. So anyways, so it doesn't really affect operations at all. So once the cover is back on, it has enough space in there to allow that to stay put. So that shroud is not really going anywhere. And then the cover goes back on, push back, and clip in place, and that's it. It's pretty straightforward, easy install. Now I have one HDMI port and 2 display port. So once that's done, I ended up spending a little bit more time on trying to figure out like how this thing goes back in. So all it really is that there's like a little latch on one side, and then the other side is just hold in place by the screw that I'd taken out. So try to figure out like what's the best way to put the screw in and use a screwdriver. So apparently having the screw on the screwdriver bit first and then holding the plate in place so it doesn't come off, and just put it back in. That's it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. A quick little project.